Hey yo, it's your boy D5Ds here, man. And you tapped in with the youngest in charge right now. Passive income with KJ. Doing it big. D5.
Hex and drip, hex and drip. All a nigga need is some hex and drip. 1% a day, I be printing drip. When I get post chain, I'ma stick that shit. Hex and drip, hex and drip. All a nigga need is some hex and drip. 1% a day, I be printing drip. When I get post chain, I'ma stick that shit. 555, feel like Richard Hart. Forex got a nigga eating off the main farm. In the pen with some pigs, in the pools with dogs. And I just got a call from the all-to-all.
This way, if someone has a maxed out wallet and wants to continue to stay in drip, they are not incentivized to sell that drip in order to enter DDD, because they can use that drip to purchase tickets from that wallet. That way they're not paying the extra tax on it, and they can still stay in drip. They can buy tickets for their other wallet from that wallet, avoiding the tax they would have to pay on transferring or selling the drip. And this way, they're not incentivized to sell the drip in order to enter with BNB and BUSD. They're incentivized to just buy the tickets through this method, through essentially the gifting method. It also allows you to buy tickets for other people, and it allows you to essentially gift tickets. Now, that, if not done correctly, would create an issue. What is that issue? The issue is, if you were able to deposit on behalf of someone and it's treated as a normal deposit, it would compound them. And that creates an exploit where someone could spend $1 to purchase one ticket on behalf of someone else as a deposit. It gets deposited into that other person's account and compounds them. And you might think, well, like, that's not too big of an issue. They're getting compounded, but they're also getting free drip, so maybe it's worth it. It's not worth it if you've been saving up your claims and maybe you have $5,000 worth of drip available to claim, and then someone spends $1 to deposit on your account, and now all of that gets compounded back in. All of that 5,000 gets compounded back in. So we created a logic structure where it looks if the person has a drip account. It does this by checking to see if they have a buddy set. So if you have a wallet and you want to buy tickets for your other wallet, you can do that from that wallet. You choose the wallet that you want to purchase tickets for. It then checks if you have a buddy on that other wallet. If you don't have a buddy on that other wallet, that means it's a new wallet. It prompts you to add a buddy address to that wallet. Once you've added a buddy address to that wallet, it allows you to buy tickets for the wallet. It's treated as a deposit for that other wallet, and now you've just established a new drip account, a new faucet account for a different wallet, funded it with drip, and purchased tickets for that other wallet from a wallet that you already had without paying a tax that you would have to pay to transact that drip to another wallet. And this disincentivizes people from dumping drip to transact the B&B to the other wallet to purchase the tickets with that other wallet and get the 20% bonus on it. So in the case that there is a buddy set on that other wallet, it recognizes that it's an existing wallet and it doesn't treat it as a normal deposit. It treats it as an airdrop, and it airdrops that drip. And the reason why this is an important distinction is because you cannot airdrop to a faucet stake that is not created. So we need to allow people that want to purchase on behalf of another wallet to do it as a deposit, a regular deposit, where they set their buddy for the other wallet and they deposit for that other wallet. But and if we treat it as an airdrop, which is the way it was initially designed, you couldn't do that because you cannot establish a drip account with an airdrop. But we cannot treat this kind of ticket gifting and deposit management as a normal deposit if the person is trying to deposit into an existing drip account, because that would force Compound whatever account was deposited into, which opens up a exploit that would allow people to spend a couple bucks and force Compound other people. And so people, should, like, we are making a ton of progress, but people need to understand that the reason why it's taking time is, for one, because the state that we got the code in, when some people were saying that it was finished and we're good to go and all of that, was not at all good to go. And secondly, we're making major improvements to it that were not part of the initial model, but are part of the new model, because we're thinking of everything. We're thinking about what happens if someone has a maxed out wallet and wants to enter into DDD. Is the incentive structure still designed to allow for that without incentivizing the selling of drip? How do we allow people to gift tickets and deposit on behalf of another wallet without creating exploits that force Compound these other wallets? How do we make sure that the model is completely decentralized and using correct price oracles and not opening up the door to flash loans? All of these things, which is the work that we've been doing just nonstop. The Wallet Connect issue, people know that the main Animal Farm domain, we took it down, I think like 36 hours ago, because Wallet Connect is having a major upgrade. They are changing their whole module, which means that any front end that was built to work with Wallet Connect V1 does not work with V2. And it required a major overhaul of our whole front end. Drip, even more so, because well, let me just say first, Animal Farm. Animal Farm was built more recently, as far as the site that we're using now. Well, when I say more recently, I mean the one that we built in-house with our team. So we built it to be able to be easily upgraded. So we were able to upgrade everything. The reason why I had to take the site down and go to a backup site for a 36-hour period was because to make these upgrades to the site, previously, BB was so the way it was working was that We had the site hosted on our host, and BB had the site hosted on his host. And Netlify limits the amount of Netlify accounts that can be associated with one domain. So when we wanted to add the Animal Farm domain to our host, we were getting an error saying that it was already being used by a Netlify account. So I had to do a bunch of research on it. I realized that it wasn't a big issue. Uh, I had to prove that I was the owner of the domain. So what I had to do was do what's called a TXT record, working with our DNS provider to write a TNS record that essentially proves that I'm the owner of the domain, so that Netlify can read our DNS record for this TXT and see that I wrote the TXT to our domain. Most DNS providers do not allow you to do your own TXT records. So the reason why we scheduled the voice chat yesterday, but I had to push it back to today, is because I was on after working all day. We finally went to push it. We got this error. I had to stay on chat for 9 hours straight with our DNS provider customer service to get them to do this TXT record, so I could prove ownership of the domain. To do that, I had to change the name servers from the host, which was our Animal Farm host, to the default name servers associated with our DNS providers. So when you do that, you're pointing the domain at a different website. So that's why we had to tell people to go to the backup, because whatever name servers you point your DNS at, so basically when you build a website on a host, they give you name servers, and then you need to give those name servers to the DNS provider, right, the domain, and that tells the domain what host to point the domain at, what website build to point the domain at. In order for them to update the TXT record, I needed to change the name server to their default. That means we could no longer point our domain at our site. So that's why I put up a backup domain while we had the TXT record changed. I spent 9 hours with the customer service, having them do that, to find out that someone else also was trying to use our domain on their account, which doesn't really mean anything other than it was a pain in the ass. We had to remove them as well. But then finally this morning, we were able to get all of the other accounts that were trying to use our domain removed, and I was able to add it to our host, which is allowing us to push this Wallet Connect fix. And we just tested the Wallet Connect fix for V2 for Animal Farm, and it's working. So before Wallet Connect V2 shuts off V1, or before Wallet Connect shuts up their V1, we're going to push the V2 version on Animal Farm. So there will be no downtime with our Wallet Connect protocol on Animal Farm. With Drip, it's not as easy, but we have done it. So the reason why it wasn't as easy is because uh, we didn't build the Drip website in house. Um, this is something that uh, was like four different dev teams working on this thing. Some community members that stepped up that wanted to build things. We initially hired the Ooze dev team who did a bunch of stuff but didn't deliver, and then we brought on our own team to do it. But now, it's a major task for them because they're dealing with the code of four different dev teams, some of them that had no clue what they were doing. And it required us to rebuild the whole front end and also rebuild all of DDD. So we did that. We've completed the things that I was just mentioning about the improved model, allowing people to buy on behalf of other people, um, all of the Oracle issues, everything we've completed. Uh, the last thing that we have to do, it appears, is right now we're using Chainlink to price our assets, BNB, BUSD, etc. Chainlink only gives 8 decimal values, but the standard is 18 decimals. So you have to use rounding. The contracts were not built to handle these rounded values. So we're making those changes now, and it will be finished shortly. It's basically we're working all day, every day on it. It will be done very shortly. I'm not going to say exactly when it will be done until the development is finished, but when it is done, it's going to be done right. It will work very well. It will work in all conditions for all users in the most optimal way, and it will go live exactly when the countdown hits 0. So, it's just about continuing to test and troubleshoot and fix issues that were implemented by developers that are not on our team that we inherited this code from. Now, as far as everything else that we're building, it's going extremely well. So, Animal Farm is that development is finished. So, it was finished on the 26th. Everything has been tested in house, and everything is working perfectly. The front end is done, the back end is done, the contracts are done. It's completed. I do not want to start promoting and get out Animal Farm until DDD and Drip thing is settled. So my goal is to get DDD and Drip done and out this week so we can start promoting Animal Farm V3 next week and get that out. Have a very strong promotional run up. Start the countdown and get it out because it's done and it's ready to go. That's the same with the Reap Down. The Reap Down was not completely finished, but it's very close to being finished, and it's on track. We took 2 of the core devs off of that to help with Drip. So the Animal Farm development, we kept those devs on that because it's very important to us that we get that done, and there was no delays on that. The ReapDAO, because we're going to do the ReapDAO after Animal Farm, uh, we took devs off of that because while we're uh, promoting and launching Animal Farm V3, we can wrap up the development of the ReapDAO. So that's why it was okay, in my opinion, to take the devs off of the ReapDAO development and put them on Drip. Um, so uh, I've been dealing with this Wallet Connect issue for the past 48 hours, completely focused on that, while my dev team has been, well, while multiple dev teams have been working, but while the Drip dev team have been wrapping up some of the remaining work that needed to be done. I just had a brief conversation with them because I was handling the Wallet Connect thing for Animal Farm, but I wanted to get into a quick call with them about Drip, and I had a meeting this morning with the Super Chat company. So the call that I got on about Drip was they told me everything is done. There's an issue with the pricing of tickets. That issue is coming from the fact that Chainlink is giving us 8 digits. It's, EVM is an 18-digit standard. So the contracts were not built to deal with this. We could deal with it easily by rounding, and they're implementing that right now. So I need to get into like a full meeting with them when I get off this call to see what the state of everything is. But if that is the last issue, that's a very easy fix, and then we need to do full, extensive manual testing. So we've written a bunch of automated stress tests, which just do all of the actions that you could do in DDD at volume. So we use hard hat, we fork BSC, so it's the exact state that it's in on mainnet, and then we use hard hat to fund thousands of wallets on our sidechain, and then use those wallets to just spam transactions, every kind of transaction you could do, and have the block times be very quick. So, multiple years go by in a day, and we look at things such as gas price and the rate of transaction failures, this kind of thing, because it's possible that something works but creates a storage issue. For example, let's say every time a referral is made, it creates a referral address that is stored and is associated with a wallet, and it needs to store and sort through this array every time a transaction is done. Well, that will work, and that will work fine until you get a couple thousand addresses in that array, and then it will start to cost more because it's having to go through so many. And then you get 10,000 in there, and it gets very expensive. And then you get 100,000 in there, and it's so much that it causes transactions to fail. And that is something that you will not notice by just doing it once, saying, "Oh, it works, it went through." So that's what stress testing is for. So we have our stress testing scripts already built, and we've been running them, and we're having no issues at all. We ran manual tests. We had some front end things that we needed to address, which have all been addressed. And now, from the conversation I just had, the last thing that we need to do is deal with the fact that Chainlink is giving us truncated values, which requires us to do some rounding. I'm really, it's important to me that we get this out next week because Animal Farm V3 development is finished, and really we just got to get this out. Uh, Now, on a major positive note, I got into a conversation with the company that we are buying out as part of the Super Chat development deal. Um, they're they've been doing a lot of work. They're fully on board on this. They're to the point where they could implement the ability for crypto super chats right now on their existing super chat platform. I told them that they should not do that because, first of all, they're located in a country that is not good from a regulatory standpoint or from a tax standpoint. So they're in a place that's going to charge them 40% corporate tax and is very, very strict on crypto projects. Also, they are not crypto developers, right? They're a team that has built a very successful third party super chat company. So the way they're doing things is not ideal. So I told them, put the brakes on it. Um, I have a meeting tomorrow with a an acquiring bank that should allow us to establish an acquirer uh, for a business that we've established in the Virgin Islands, which has zero corporate tax and also very, very loose and friendly crypto regulation. And this way, we're doing it the right way, right? We're doing it in a way where we're not going to get shut down by the government 2 weeks after launching, and also where we can actually stay in business because Super Chats is a model where most of your purchases are $1, $5. So there's a very slim margin that you have to work with. And if you're getting taxed 40% or even 25%, it's not going to be viable. So they understand that. And also, uh, the reason why they could kind of put it together is because they were thinking about using existing APIs to do it. These existing APIs have very high fees. Like to be able to do cross-chain atomic swaps from say Dogecoin to ETH, you're gonna pay 8 to 10% on that. We cannot afford to be having additional 8 to 10% fees on super chats, right? Because the whole purpose of this is to have peer-to-peer trustless super chats that can be triggered by crypto and have the fee associated with it be at least 50% less than the fee that you would pay on YouTube or on Twitch. So that's the goal. And to do that, we cannot use any centralized controllers. We cannot use any existing APIs that have their own high fees on them. So we need to build these things in-house, which we're very capable of doing. And we have to be very smart about the way that we establish the company to be able to do this. Because since this is a super chat company, super chats require some element of centralization, right? Because you need to have a some kind of API that is reading the chain to see the transactions, to know to trigger the super chat, and have a webhook that people can connect their OBS or Streamlabs to in order to show that super chat on their stream. So and it requires fiat payment processing. And to have a fiat payment processor, right, you need to have a company. Uh, so there is a small element of centralization, but the centralization is not around the crypto payment side. It's on the fiat payment side, and anytime you have regular fiat payments, you're going to have some element of centralization. Uh, so it's very important that we establish that side of the business in a way that is very strong, that is not going to be put at risk due to the crypto side of the business, that is not going to be unviable due to tax and due to regulation, and is not put at risk at losing payment processing. So, so that's what we're in the process of doing. I have a meeting tomorrow with an acquiring bank that we've already gotten soft approval for, and the meeting tomorrow should allow us to get a strong approval on it, so we can move forward on that. And that's going to be extremely, extremely strong. So really, it's drip is the thing that's hanging us up right now. And the reason why it's hanging us up is because DDD, the drip front end, all of that stuff was not built from the ground up by our team, right? It's someone else, community members, and a couple other dev teams that put it together. The DDD guy or guys did not understand like the logic of everything, the logic of how to build a system like this, the logic of our model and our incentive structure. So it required a restructuring of everything. And the Drip website was, even though it's nice, right? The design is very nice. And actually, the design is what really came from our community. Obviously, with my direction telling them that I want this to happen, I want this to happen, I want this to happen. But, the reality is all of it needed to be rebuilt. So, so we're doing it. It's a major job, but we're committed to it. And as soon as we get this thing out the door, we're going to be going right into Animal Farm, which is already done. And then from that, we're going to be going either right into Super Chats or right into ReapDAO. The Piggy Plico situation, as I've already said, that's something that we need to consider because BSC is coming out with a layer 2. That's an optimistic roll-up, very similar to Arbitrum, but for BSC. And it would be much, much better to launch Piggy Plico on that from a cost and a speed perspective. And the testnet is already up. So if they're going to be getting the mainnet up in a couple months, like let's say 2 or 3 months, it makes sense to do it on the layer 2 rather than doing a suboptimal version when we could just wait an extra month to get it out on the most optimal version. But in the meantime, we're working full steam on the whole gaming platform, which is going to be built on Arbitrum, which is going to be massive. We also retained the largest influencer marketing firm in DeFi. It was a big deal. It required a bunch of meetings with them, but we have successfully retained them, and that's going to be massive, especially massive for the gaming and super chat project. They're really looking for new ways to add revenue to their to the influencers they work with, which are all of the top influencers in DeFi, and to offer them a way that they can earn significantly through playing games on stream, and a new payment structure where they could where they can offer crypto super chats is something that is very exciting to them. And we're in the position to be able to deliver that. So, you know, all I can say is everything else is going very, very well. The drip stuff is where our focus is on. It's one thing after the other, but we're knocking things out as they come out. Um, it would have been faster if we just built the whole thing from the ground up, but we're like past that point now. And I, what's what is important to me and what I really want to see is for it to go up this week, so we can start next week uh, promoting Animal Farm V3, because Animal Farm V3 is going to be massive, and I'm just very excited about it, and it's already done, and that's something that we built in house, so we know it's it's going to be good, and you know part of the reason why we will not have any delays moving forward is because I will not give a launch date until the development is fully done. Um, the whole drip situation was I mean, the reality is that I've said this whole time that until we start a countdown, the official launch date is not out. There's been a lot of people, like community members and people that have been saying, it's going to come out on this day, or, it's done, etc., etc. But the reality is, until I give an official date and a countdown, uh, we uh, you know, we do not have a launch date, and I know it's kind of tongue in cheek to say without a launch date there can't be a delay. Like, I realize that whether I'm given an official launch date or not, this is being delayed. But once that countdown has started and that official date has been given, there will not be a delay. And moving forward, everything else that we build will not be given a launch date or a countdown until development is completed. And as I said, Animal Farm is already 100% completed from a development standpoint. So as soon as we get drip done, the following week, we're going to be giving a launch date for Animal Farm and starting the countdown. Uh, it's going to be a two-step process, right? Because first, we want to do the dog pound migration to the to migrate everybody to the NFT dog pound model, and then we will do the full farm migration. So it's going to be a two-step process. So hopefully this week DDD drip will get out. Next week we're going to start the countdown for the dog pound NFT migration. I would love to start that countdown on Tuesday to go live on Thursday. And then the following week, we will have the full Animal Farm migration. That's the plan. And what's going to happen when we do that? The inflation of AFP and AFD is going to drop by about 70%. The yield that we're earning on non-native capital is going to increase by a factor of, depending on the assets, multiples of what it's already doing, because of the rate of compounding. Potentially thousands of APY in native assets being earned. Well, not potentially. Essentially, that it will be at least over 1,000% APY that's being earned in our farms, with a 70% reduction in AFP and AFD inflation. All the rest of that APY is coming from the native assets that you're staking, being compounded into your position, coming from trading fees that you're collecting, and a 5 to 8x increase in cake that we're earning, which will be swapped for BUSD and paid out to the. So we're looking at an 8 to 10% increase in BUSD that will be paid out to the pigpen, and like a 50x increase in what you're earning in APY on your non-native assets, with the vast majority of that being in the form of your native assets, and a 70% decrease in AFP and AFD. I mean, that's going to be massive. That's going to be massive for the price of AFP and AFD, for the yield that you're able to earn, and the utility of Animal Farm. Because all of a sudden we have this major undeniable utility in the fact that we're doing this range optimization. So I'm just very, very excited to get to that. And the fact that it's already finished and ready to go is just driving me crazy that we're still dealing with this drip stuff. But the fact is, I'm committed to it. And when I say I'm going to do something, we do it. I'm paying tens of thousands of extra dollars a week because I brought on other developers, even though this was really supposed to be a community built thing. But it's important to me that this gets done. I know it's important to the community. But what's important is that we do it the right way, and that there's no delays once that countdown has started. So what it's going to look like is different than how it was initially pitched, but in the best ways possible, right? We've just improved it in every way possible. And you guys will be rewarded for your patience. And, I may not have said this. I definitely said this in the DAO meeting. I probably have not said this in a meeting publicly. But let me just go over it because I'm not sure if I have or not. So we've had a change in our management. So we hired an advisor that has worked as an advisor for all of the top online casinos doing revenue optimization. And we hired him as an advisor because we have our gaming platform that we're working on. He proved himself to be very knowledgeable when it comes to business management, and also just a very reliable person, a competent person. So we decided to bring him on as our business manager. And we were in the process of taking tasks that were previously delegated to BP, our project manager, such as accounting, such as managing the marketing team, and organizing deal flow for our DAO, and we started delegating those tasks to him. Then, and this is also part of the reason why we hit a little bit of a bump in the road with things. Then, while we were in the process of delegating tasks to him, our project manager BP, about 5 weeks ago, he had to take a week off. We knew he had to take a week off because he was managing a festival that he had planned the previous year. So it's something he does every year, that he has been doing every year for a long time. And I mean, this is what his degree is in, technology management. So he manages this major festival from like an engineering perspective. And we knew that he was going to have to take that week off. So because he had to travel to do this, he had some family fly in to help maintain his living situation, take care of his pets and all of that. And because of that, he was made aware of a major thing that happened uh, relative to his family that caused him to basically put down everything and deal with that. Uh, it required him to move. It required him to be a full time caregiver for someone for a period of a few weeks until he could figure out a situation to make things work. And it it was he was kind of operating at like 20% of his capacity because he was dealing with that. Uh, I realized that first of all he needs time, and secondly, we need someone that is fully committed as a project manager that can give his 100%. So we had worked with a major DeFi development company to build the Reap DAO. And because the Reap DAO is such a big project, like I have not got the full vision of the Reap DAO. I've not spoken about it publicly because we're dealing with these things right now. But it's massive, right? It's a massive project with some very innovative stuff that we're doing. So because of that, he stopped taking on additional clients, right? The owner of this company that we hired to build the Reap DAO, and he is the owner of this DeFi development company and the manager of the company. So he manages the developers and he's the owner of the company. He stopped taking on other clients when he got the Reap DAO job because he knew that the Reap DAO was a major project that would take on all of his developers, and he even would need to reach out and contract a developer to get the job done. So he stopped. He stopped taking on additional clients. So it was a very good situation for the opportunity to bring him on as project manager, because he is very experienced. For the past 3 years, he's been running a crypto DeFi development company and managing his own developers and developers that he contracted. Plus, he was no longer taking on other clients. So we came to an exclusivity agreement where he's working full time as my project manager. Instead of contracting other developers to take on new clients, he's going to be working with our existing developers, such as our Animal Farm developers and our gaming platform developers, and he stepped in as project manager. It took some time to get him fully up to date and to have BB help him with getting used to how we run things. But we're full steam ahead on that now. And the great thing about it is, for one, he's very knowledgeable when it comes to DeFi, which is an improvement because although BP is very well organized and a very competent, very hard worker, and is absolutely committed to us, he still was not knowledgeable when it came to like the technical development side of things, whereas our new project manager is. And also with him comes a full development team, a full stack development team, and a full network of developers that he has that we can contract. And that's one of the big issues we were running into, is just a lack of competent developers. So now we have essentially reserved developers that are on our team that are there to give oversight to the developers that we have actually building up the projects, to be constantly testing their work, to be giving oversight, to be giving them a helping hand when needed, to be auditing the code that we're getting, to making sure that when a team passes something, it's strong. It's very helpful when it comes to creating development outlines and sprints and agreeing how much specific tasks should cost, how much time it should take to develop them. So it's a major step in the right direction as far as our project development management goes. Also, because BP had to basically step away, we had to fully onboard JJ, our business manager. So now he's handling all of our accounting. He since he's been on, he retained this major influencer firm who is going to be starting working with us for Animal Farm V3. We've just created a major promo video and pitch deck for V3 to both have on our website, but also pass to influencers to get them on board with what we're doing. And things are going to be running very smooth and a lot more efficient. We have a lot more resources at our hands now. With that said, BP is very good when it comes to communication, organization, dealing with people. So he is going to stay on the team, and we are going to need other management roles to be filled, especially when we are doing the gaming platform and the super chat platform, because those are platforms that require us to work hand in hand with everyday users, YouTubers, influencers, community members. We really need to have like a customer support role there, which is the perfect role for him to fill, in my opinion. So, he's not going anywhere. He needed to take a step back for a few weeks to be able to deal with family issues, and that did cause a little bit of an issue for us, right? Where for a few weeks we had like a lack of organization, but we made the adjustment to be stronger than ever now, and we all feel very, very good about everything we have lined up, and it's really just a matter of getting DDD out and the few things that are left to get out with drip, so we can just go full bore with the stuff that's already been developed and it's just sitting waiting for us to give our attention to it. So I'm gonna get out of this meeting now. I'm gonna go to the drip development group. I'm gonna get a full briefing on where we are right now. The Animal Farm site is back up. It could take up to 24 hours to propagate globally, but for most people, it's back up. And the Wallet Connect V2 should be ready to go today for Animal Farm. For Drip, it is fixed, but the thing is that we needed to rebuild everything in order to fix Wallet Connect V2 for Drip, and that includes DDD, and we were running into issues, but it's most likely those issues are specific to the DDD front end, so we just need to basically wrap up DDD before we're going to push up the Wallet Connect fixes to Drip. So that's where we're at, guys. I'm hoping in the next couple days we'll be able to start the countdown. It will be a short countdown, 24, 48 hours. It will be, once that countdown is started, that means everything is done and tested and we're ready to go. Once that happens, the following week, which I hope is next week, it's Animal Farm V3, and we're off to the races, full bore. But this is really just a matter of us getting a bunch of code from people that are not experienced developers, and us trying to fix it rather than just scrapping it and building it from scratch. And it's become very apparent now that we should have just scrapped it and built it from scratch. It would have been faster. But I mean, when you are delivering a full project, the first thing that comes to mind is not scrapping it and building it from scratch, right? The first thing is, okay, it's not perfect. How do we fix it? Let's start fixing it. But the more we fixed it, the more we found other issues, and we ended up having to build it from scratch, but in a way that took a lot longer because we're working with other people's code, and we're not building it from scratch, like from the ground up. It's building it from scratch by fixing one thing that unveils 5 other issues, fixing those 5 other issues that unveils 2 other issues, fix those issues, and next thing you know, we've rebuilt the whole contract, but in the most inefficient way possible. But it's it's not all bad because with that we've seriously improved the logic of the system and the functionality of the system in a way that would not have been the case if they had just gave it to us in the state that they gave it to us, but it worked, right? So you're getting a way better product. And also, one good thing that has come out of this is we know who we can rely on. We know who our real people are, because some people on our team really stepped up in a big way to make sure that we're getting this done. And they put down the work that they were doing on our other projects to focus on this, which is not something anybody wanted to do. And nobody likes working on other people's half-baked bad logic code, but they did. So we have some really good guys on our team, and yeah, I'm excited to get it out, guys. So we'll have an update soon. I'll know by tomorrow where we stand a little bit more, just because I've been spending the last 48 hours working on the Wallet Connect issue for Animal Farm, and I will be in the chat tomorrow with some updates. So thanks, guys. Be patient. Talk soon.